To stick with current trends, if you're not cruising, then where are you at? Demand for cruising has dropped significantly since the cruise restart in late June and early July. We will talk about the demand currently, what it means for cruisers like you and I that have cruises booked, and we're going on them this fall. Plus, we're going to look at vaccination protocols for each cruise line that you islanders travel so that there's no confusion despite what has been in the news recently. And finally, we have some really exciting and almost, something new and fresh from Virgin Voyages. We have what their cruise experience looks like and why maybe we will try one of those cruises very, very soon. Let's talk about everything right now on Island Time. A big happy Monday to all you islanders. I hope you had a great weekend. I know that we did. It was very busy. I so enjoyed our time together as we went live yesterday evening. We got to interact. We laughed together. We told stories together. We played games together. It was a blast, and you know that we will do it again soon. I hope you're ready for a big week. It's going to be busy around here, and there's lots of cruise news to talk about. There's great news for the most part with cruising and with travel overall, as today there was a big announcement between the United States and the UK and Europe on travel. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. Let's get started with the news. First off, if you're not cruising, then where are you at? That's what the current trend says, and numbers don't lie. You remember the demand for cruising was so high in 2020 as cruises were canceled. In 2021, we all wondered, when will cruising resume? It finally restarted in late June and early July. Ships were booked, sailings were sold out. You could not find them on websites like Carnival Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean. They had to take them down because they were at capacity. But we got through the summer, which was, of course, the busy season. And we're into early fall when things usually slow down, and they really are slowing down. We're seeing capacity levels across cruise lines who had their capacity at 70%, Carnival Cruise Line being one of them, drop to 65 and 60% capacity. Islanders are cruising every week, and it's multiple cruises they've been on. They've been on a cruise in July. They've been on a cruise in August. Now they're into September, and they're saying, Derek, there's nobody on this ship, and I love it. I hope that you do love it. And remember, we're entering into the slow season. At the same time, ships continue to enter the fleet. When a ship enters the fleet, that is more berths that passengers can take up. If you look at Galveston with Carnival Cruise Line alone, the Vista came back on July 3rd. The Breeze came back July 15th, and now the Dream is back. So that's a lot of rooms just out of Galveston alone, which means that those ships will feel probably more empty because the demand isn't there. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, it may not be there for the rest of the year. Those of you who are getting deals, VIFP deals to travel with Carnival, with Royal Caribbean, you're going to receive those into the fall and the winter. I am very confident about that. The cruises that I share with you, when I say, hey, today, if you want to go on a cruise and you want to book it today and leave this weekend, it is free. You're not booking through me. Remember, I'm giving you a phone number of someone who works for Carnival. I don't get a kickback. I'm just sharing it with you islanders. That's going to continue, I'm pretty confident, into the fall and the winter. But there's news on the horizon. Today we received news that the 18-month ban from the British, the UK, the European travelers who have not been able to travel to the United States, it's coming to an end. That's right. This travel ban is about to be over. We don't know the exact date yet. From early November, travelers from the UK and from Europe will be able to travel to the United States for the first time since March of 2020. Now, there's a couple of caveats to this. First off, you're going to be able to travel for leisure reasons. You're going to be able to travel for a cruise, per se, if you wanted to. You do have to show proof of negative COVID-19 test, and you do have to show proof of vaccination. But that is big news, and it may not mean much for the rest of 2021. For November and December, it won't really. as we get into next spring and summer, you will see a significant rise in the number of travelers coming to the United States and cruisers. Just think about this. I thought about it this way this morning. I have several friends and even family who have canceled trips to go to Europe. Okay, over the last year, even the last several months, they've canceled their trips to go to Europe, even though some countries are allowing U.S. travelers to travel to Europe. But when you look at the opposite, there are many more travelers who want to come from Europe and travel to the United States. The demand is there, and we will see European travelers in the very near future, especially into 2022, travel on cruise ships. So that will help generate some demand as we get into 2022. It's going to be exciting to see. Now let's get into our next story. There were so many questions last night on our live video on what is the vaccination policy per cruise line, or I want to know the vaccination policy so I can choose which cruise line I want to cruise. I'm going to make this very, very quick, but I have the policies in front of me from all cruise lines that are sailing from the United States right now. And I will start with Carnival and Royal Caribbean. I will pair them together because they're doing the same thing. Carnival and Royal Caribbean both say that everyone over the age of 12 must be vaccinated. Everyone over the age of 12 must be vaccinated. There are very few, I'm talking on one hand or less, where medical reasons or extenuating circumstances can be used for an adult or someone over 12 to not be vaccinated. Few and far between, I promise you, and that a lot of that is driven by local protocols from ports that both Royal Caribbean and Carnival visit. Those who are under the age of 12 do not have to be vaccinated. Of course, they can't be. They have to be tested, and those numbers are very limited as well. That is Carnival and Royal Caribbean. Norwegian Cruise Line, 100%. That's easy. If you are going on Norwegian, you are vaccinated. No kids under 12, and there's no extenuating circumstances that Norwegian takes into consideration. You must be 100% vaccinated, and that is until the end of the year. MSC, this was a big question last night with MSC. You know, MSC really was on the forefront of bringing back the cruise industry globally, and they're starting to sail out of the United States, and there's lots of questions about MSC. We had several last night on our live show, so I wanted to address it here today. Through October the 31st, U.S. passengers cruising from a U.S. home port are required to be fully vaccinated 14 days before the cruise. If you're unable or unwilling to show proof of vaccination, you will be denied boarding. That is from MSC. A lot of people last night thought that their rules were a little bit relaxed on vaccinations. That may be the case in other parts of the world, but here in the United States, their policy aligns with most policies that we see with other cruise lines. Princess Cruises, all cruises through December 31st are currently available to guests who have received their final dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Of course, it's the 14 days, like every other cruise line, that you have to wait to be considered fully vaccinated. That is Princess. Celebrity requires all guests 12 and older to be fully vaccinated. And the 14-day rule, of course, applies there as well. Celebrity is taking kids, okay, under the age of 12, but again, they are very, very limited, just like Carnival and Royal Caribbean. So that is a vaccine update. Most of the protocols match across the board, but there are variants, and so I wanted to cover that because there have been so many questions about that. Now let's get to something fun. This is fun. It's different, and that's really why it is fun, because it's something different. Richard Branson, Virgin Voyages, they've launched. They've had all sorts of issues of launching their first cruise. The Scarlet Lady went to the UK, had several sailings out of there that were very successful. She is back. She's been in New York City. She's about to head to Miami. And this is a different cruise line that I think we need to look at. Amanda and I really want to try Virgin Voyages out. It is an all adults cruise line. It is an all-inclusive cruise line. And I had to point out just some different things because a lot of you have asked about Virgin. A lot of you have questions about it. What does it look like? What's different? And I wanted to answer some of those questions today. So the Scarlet Lady Starts selling officially on October the 6th from Miami. She's going to sail around the Caribbean. Prices are better than what you would even believe. I promise you that. I thought this would be like a Disney type of cruise, which it can be expensive, but prices are not as bad as what I thought that they would be. Cabins range from $725 to $5,800 on these voyages, and they're still on sale. They're not sold out. I looked even today. They are still there on Virgin Voyages website. So if you want to cruise, do it. Virgin Voyages plans on launching its second of 4 ships that it has planned. There are more on the horizon, but they have 4 for sure signed and just waiting to be built. The Valiant Lady will launch in 2022. She's going to sail out of the Mediterranean, but listen to this. So on Virgin, one thing that's different than other cruise lines, there's no massive dining hall. There's no big room where passengers go and enjoy a meal together, where the majority of passengers, there are dining halls, there are restaurants, but no main dining room where, 800 people, 1,000 people at a time go eat. There's no buffets. There's no buffets, which will be a deal breaker for some people. I know you islanders, but there are no buffets. There are no amusement rides. There's no roller coaster per se. There's no cruise director on Virgin Voyages. No one coming over the intercom saying what's going on today, what's going on this evening. There's none of that. Instead, there are ship activities and happenings and things to do that are ran by staff members who are experts at what they do. There are no drink packages per se. It's an all-inclusive cruise. You pay for your ticket, and what you have on board is all inclusive. You don't set times for your dinner, so they have an anytime type of dining. And you're not going to be stuck at tables with people you don't know. You're going to have your own place to eat. Now, speaking of places to eat, the Scarlet Lady has more than 20 dining venues. More than 20. You can dine at any of these 20 venues, and it's included in your cruise fare. You don't pay for specialty dining. Some restaurants may be specialty and nicer as far as category and what they serve than others, but just because it's considered specialty dining does not mean that you are paying an extra price. All you have to do is get on the app, you add yourself to the wait list for wherever you want to eat. The app tells you when your table is ready. It's all part of your package. You're not paying more for it. You're not paying any more for tips. At restaurants or on your cruise itself, tips are already included. You're not going to see a charge on your sign and sell account for gratuity. Virgin Voyages is trying to appeal to both the older crowd. A lot of people think, they're trying to get the youngsters in. It's not just the youngsters, it's also the older crowd. They're very environmentally friendly to the point that the engine converts heat waste from the engine into electricity, and they use that electricity on board the ship. They also shun single-use plastics, which we've seen cruise lines, including Carnival and Royal Caribbean, take up this effort as well. There's a casino on board. That's important to a lot of you islanders. There's shopping as well, but there's things like a tattoo parlor. If you can imagine getting a tattoo on the high seas, and I hope that the waves and the waters are calm while you're getting your tattoo, but there's a tattoo parlor on board the Scarlet Lady. It's just a different type of sailing, and it's something that I think we need to try. It's a different way to cruise. It's adults only, no kids. Everything's focused on what you want to do to relax, whether it's lay in the sun, sit in a pool, a hot tub, go to different entertainment venues inside the ship. The shows are incredible. They're different than anything you'll see. They are adult only. I will say that. They're one of the main show, the biggest show that the ship had when it was in the UK is very adults only. I'll put it that way. You can look it up. But I think it needs to be an option. That's my point here. It needs to be an option, especially if you are a longtime cruiser. You love cruising for what it is. You really do. But you've seen the same thing over and over. You love it. That's why you go back. but maybe you're looking for something a little bit different. Maybe you want to see cruising in a different way. You know what I'm talking about if you're an experienced cruiser. Sometimes you just do things because it's different. And know that that is okay. It's perfectly okay to go do this and still be tied to Carnival, still be tied to Royal Caribbean, loyal to Royal. We hear it all the time. It's okay to go try something. I wanted to share those things because maybe it will strike an interest and you can go look it up for yourself. I don't have a contact to book with Virgin Voyages, but maybe I need one. We'll see. That's the news today. I'm so glad you joined us. Please give us a thumbs up. If you're not an Islander yet, please consider subscribing. We would love for you to do so. Ring that bell so you're notified every time content is uploaded. We will see you tomorrow right here on Island Time.